Hello everybody, how are you? Hope you all are doing well and preparing well for your examinations. Welcome to today's topic, and the topic is lac culture. Lac is a very important substance produced by the insect belonging to order Hemiptera of class Insecta of phylum Arthropoda. Since Vedic times, the importance of lac or laksha or laka has been known to Indians. Not only Indians, but to Chinese, to Greek, and to Romans. So let's understand what is lac, what is its importance, what is its significance, and how the culture is being done. Now, this is a very famous painting on the left hand side, and I think most of you can guess if you know the story of Mahabharata. In Mahabharata, there is a story, or there is an episode comes where you know that between the Kauravas and Pandavas, that dual kind of thing, that Kauravas made a house or a palace made of Laksha or Lakka or lac. Actually, lac is inflammable as well. So the secretions from a particular insect that belongs to order Hemiptera, obviously class is Insecta, and phylum Arthropoda. Okay. Now in this particular one, this Laksha is seen, and finally the Pandavas, they were actually rescued from that fire, and actually their servants, they got killed, and everybody thought the Pandavas were dead. And then finally they went to exile, there they actually killed many demons like Bakasur, Hidimb and all. Then Arjun and all his brothers got married to Draupadi. They came back to Hastinapur, and then the division of the kingdom, Indraprasth began, and all these stories, basically these things and these mythological very famous part of epic Mahabharata. So, and the story continued. So basically my point in showing this particular picture is that laksha or lak, or its use or its properties, were known to Indians since, I think, pre-Vedic times, since Mahabharata times. If the age of Mahabharata is 5,000 years old, so obviously that is the time, or that was the time, but prior to that it was known. Even the women of India, the lac was very much known to them, because they used that to dye their hair, to dye their hand, to dye their feet, as a cosmetic, as a beautification product, basically. Lac has also other important functions also, like it is also used in the postal department. Why? Because in postal department, they actually, heat the lac, and they put it over as a seal for many documents, even for sealing many, you can say, the shops or something, or the key and lock, basically lac is being used. So lac is a very important component in our culture, and it has a cultural significance. Now coming back to the scientific aspect of it, basically it belongs to subfamily. Family, I'll just go to subfamily, we'll talk about later. Family Laciferina. Okay. And it has two important species. One is Caria, or it is also known as Lacifer. And another important one is the Tacardia. Basically Tacardia. These are the two important insects or lac insects that are being cultured, that are being reared in order to obtain the semi-precious, or you can say very important component, lac. So let's understand more about it. In case of this lac culture, what is lac? Now I've been talking about lac a lot. Lac is basically a resin. Lac is a resin, or you can say resinous secretion by the many species of lac insect. and they are very different species. One is Caria lacca, then another are, you can say, the Tacarina, the Tacardia, and so many other. There are, I have just named these two only because in India basically these two are being cultivated. Lac is also being grown in Sri Lanka, in Bangladesh, in Myanmar, in other parts also. In India, Jharkhand is one of the major states of growing the lac. So lac is nothing, it is a resin, and resin, we know, it is highly inflammable also. It is, it has lots of oil. So basically a sticky secretion comes out from the anal portion of the, or you can say the from the rear portion of the insects. And being it is a Hemiptera, so it is a hemimetabolous insect. That means it will have egg, nymph and adult. It will not have that larva, pupa, not holometabolous kind of thing. It is a hemimetabolous. So as you can see in the picture itself, this is the stick over which you can say these are the small resins that have been actually deposited. This is again, see, the whole twig is actually deposited with the resin. So these are the Caria lacca, these red colored, these insects. That means our ancestors, they actually identified the economic importance of this particular insect. In fact, this lac is also used for making many jewelries, like your unmarried women in India especially, they wear those red colored things, or the red bangles, or the red anything, the necklace and all, basically made out of that lac. So this is another species of lac. This is another species of lac. So what are they doing? This is the lac. These insects, actually they have produced the resin over the sticks, over the twigs of particular plants. Now there is a complete list of plants over the twigs of whose the resin is being deposited by the different species of lac. So let's see what are the different trees basically that actually support this lac culture, and then we will understand the life cycle of lac culture and how the things are being done. Now for the trees which actually support this lac culture, there are many. That's why different varieties of lac or resin is obtained as per the trees on which the insects are being grown, because these insects basically feed on those, you can say, the juices of those trees over the branches, and then they only produce the resin. So different trees are producing different kinds of lac. Usually in case of the lac, just a moment. Yeah, what are the products do we get from the lac? Basically lac resin, lac wax and lac dye. Rather, this dye was more in use as compared to resin before, in 17th century or 18th century. Why so? Because that time, you can say the gramophone actually came into, maybe in 19th century, if 17th, 18th, I'm going too far. So when gramophone came, this dye was actually used, to dyeing those gramophone shields or those cassettes, the bigger one basically. So it was K. N. Dave in 1950. Again, a very important name that can be asked in a question or something. K. N. Dave. In 1950, who have actually did a lot of, you can say, the archaeological studies or the literature for the lac. That's why he could say that even in Arthashastra, the uses of lac was given. It was already been mentioned. Now, if we talk about the trees over which the lac grow, all the ficus species, Ficus religiosa, people, bargad and all, Ficus bengalensis, Ficus species completely. Then Butea monosperma, this one, Butea monosperma, that is your palash. You can see this, the palash flowers, palash, that one is there. This one is, this particular one, I'll just show you, this one, it is the kusumi tree. The kusumi lac is considered very high quality lac. So kusumi tree, it is again done. Then again on the arhar dal or the kajanus kajan, even lac insects are being reared over these trees also. Fig, if you see on the very top, this is a fig. These figs are very much in use. For what? Figs are very much in use for all kinds of, you can say, this for the growing of these lac basically. If you talk about the fig and all, like it is the ficus only, again a ficus species, obviously the ficus religiosa, ficus fig, bengalensis is